This morning, we're so thankful to have several descendants of those warriors who were imprisoned at Fort Marion. And we've asked each descendant to spend about 10 minutes talking about their ancestors and the importance of Fort Marion. So after each speaker, there will be a short opportunity for questions. So we're so thrilled to have.
Some of these could be put up. They're not on.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, I can grab some. You ready? This is Dorothy, Whitehorse, DeLuane. Thank you so much.
So overwhelming to be here, especially when over 80 years I made a promise to my mother that someday I would get to Fort Marion so I could see where my grandfather, Whitehorse, is buried. And the other one was a Skywalker, Mah-mante, Dorothy, Kiowa, Lone Wolf. All of them, we revere their names at home. We were never able to make it. And to just sit here last night and go into the prison and see what they had to overcome. It was a change of climate. You can hear it in my voice. It could have been sympathy. I don't know. We didn't know where they were bringing them. The Kiowas even told me stories, and I was thankful to one Army soldier all my life because she's a little Comanche girl, about 6 years old, and they were taking her dad. I'm Kiowa, but they were taking her. And she was screaming, hanging on to her dad, crying and screaming and holding on. And finally, one of the soldiers, God bless him, whoever he was, he said, let her go. So that's why there was a wife and a child that came. They were able to be with their dad. What a feeling that must have been. And then time passed, and I didn't have no feeling of rebelliousness no more. Mah-mante was my mother's grandfather. His son is buried at the Rainy Mountain Cemetery, Mountain View, Oklahoma, right now. And they've been waiting to whoever they could trust to see about bringing his son home. I'm the last. I had 9 sisters. The chairman is a direct descendant of Whitehorse. I carry the name Whitehorse right now. That's my surname, Dorothy Whitehorse DeLuane. My mother spent her whole life mourning for her dad, and they were never able to make it here due to the circumstances during the war years and everything. And then I came, and I chickened out on them. I was so overwhelmed last night, I couldn't stay there. I had to go back to the hotel. I didn't think I'd have this reaction because we had 2 generations that didn't seem to understand work here. I have a colleague right here from the Comanche Nation. She's the Comanche lady I know that kept up with her tribal things. We never let anything drop. But some of our tribal administrations, it might have been a lack of interest or not wanting to know. And finally, we found people that afforded us not the money, how to get here, the ins and outs, because there were so many doors closed. And I feel like I've got my foot in now, and we can take him home to be buried with his relatives at Mountain View, to his beloved Rainy Mountain That's our home place. That's the way I felt all of my life. I was a non-English speaking child. I didn't talk English until I was in my teens. And I grew up in a full-blood Kiowa home, learning our ways, raised with it, never being ashamed, never going through that period where all you wanted to do was talk English. And somehow, when I see the pictographs on clothing, I have a sudden reaction. That's the only reaction I have. Don't use my grandfather's prison for your clothes. You know, use our tribal things, not our pictures where they suffered. And that's the only reaction. The generations now, we're by no means responsible for what our people have done. That's been long gone. I've had a long life, and I think this is my end of involvement as long as I can do things for my tribe. Rita and I are both from each tribe. We're able to make it. I'm in my 91st year this year, and I've been able to keep up with this. I've always been proud of who I am. Never, never, never be ashamed of where you come from. I've had a nice life. This was my only real goal, is to someday, and I thought I met with the Cheyennes about 20 years when Mr. Sipes, when they were still there. And I thought we were this close to bringing them home. But they're mixed up. And how are we going to ever know that we really brought them home? That's what it means to me. It's selfishness. But I had to get here. If someday I would come up. Your hospitality has been good. Our tribe was punished. And the last go was with Chief Lone Wolf Guipago. They call it the wrinkled hand chase. They fled as far west to the State Plains as they could. And they hid in a place called Paladuro Canyon. And somebody reported to the scouts, and they found us. We had Kiowas going down there saying that this was the day they were dying. They were going to die because it's a deep one-entrance canyon, and the only way they could knock our brave warriors to their knees was to kill 1,500 horses. One entrance out. No way to go out. Poor Buffalo. He was behind a rock singing his final death song. They were sitting there. Miss Enoch Smokey, the town of Amarillo, Texas, honored her in 1955. And then that's all. Last we heard about the president, this for 20 years. And they honored her. And she said it was wet and it was cold, and they were all going down one horse at a time. And she said her dad told him, "Put on your best clothes tonight. Put on your best clothes because we're going to die today." That's where, and I get teary, but I still have those feelings. I'm so grateful. That was, we had, and then Whitehorse was, our chairman is fourth in line in that name, with that name. And he was here. He was kind of arrogant, tried to escape 2 times, stayed in a dungeon for almost a month without anything but water and bread. Then they walked him around the square here showing him off. So he and one Cheyenne, they put him in the arena because they wanted to know how we handle horses. They put him in the arena with either a bull, a toro, or a buffalo, I don't know. They had a show. They let that animal go into the arena, and they chased it. All they had was one butcher knife. And they trapped it between them, the Cheyenne with his knees and the Kiowa with his knees. And they said Whitehorse jumped off and stabbed the buffalo right where the spinal column is. And in 2 minutes flat, he was on the ground. And they said he cut I'll show him what a savage I am. He cut it open where the kidney was. That's a delicacy for us. And pulled it out and ate it raw. They said there were ladies fainting in the arena. But they actually done that. And those were Kiowa, Cheyenne, Apache, Caddo. Those were warriors. They weren't little boys, they were warriors that we still dance for them. Thank goodness the tribes west of I-35, if you're ever there, are welcome to all of you to come, because I call us west of I-35 the Buckskin Feather Indians. East side of I-35, they have their own dances. But you're going to see real Indians. Come and visit us. I'm just too overwhelmed. And you're looking at one right now. Raised our children with those values. Never ashamed to be who we are. We come from noble people, the 9 tribes that I named. We're brothers. We call our brothers the Comanches, Kaigu, warriors. And in honor of them, that scalp lock right here, Kiowas call it a kaipon. It's a warrior blade. That's how we honor them. We call this the Cheyennes Sakot, the winter cold biters. I'm a fluent Kiowa speaker. I teach it in all stages. And we just graduated our first classes of 12 fluent speakers. And they're qualified to teach in the classroom. I teach at a little university by the house, about 9 miles from where I live, for about 11 years now. I just thought I should share it. And my siblings and I all spoke. There was never any English spoken. We sent warriors for every war since World War I. The tribes, I'm speaking for 9 tribes. We've taken part in everything. We had an alliance with the Caddo tribe, our strongest war dance organization. Had many Caddos that belonged to the Ohoma. That's the war we got from the Cheyennes. So it just makes a round robin like that. The Comanches, we're just part of them. And I just got to, I could feel that. I know I don't have to share it with y'all. I know you guys felt it too. But I felt like they said you came to get us. And it'll happen. It'll happen. We have to. Then it'll be fulfilled. I cry. My mother prayed all the time. That was her grandpa, Mah-mante the Skywalker. He was a mystic, and he could make things happen through, they said witchery, but it wasn't evil witchery. And when the man that turned the Kiowas in, he was going, the first one he pointed out was Lone Wolf, and Lone Wolf became our last all-around chief. And the Kiowas in the wagon already were saying, Mah-mante, get this man. The one turning us in, get him. And Mah-mante said, no, don't say that. If I do something to him, I'm going to have to suffer. I'm going to have to give my life. And then the irony of that is 4 days later on their ride across the country on a wagon, they got word that the man expired from strychnine poisoning. I call it karma. So that's our history. And if everybody from the tribes I name, you're not just guessing when you say chiefs. We come from royalty from each tribe. I look out in the audience and I see that. So what you got here is the best of each tribe. The best chairman and the vice chairman. I'm going to want a good lunch. And maybe a pair of Cheyenne moccasins. Anyway, I'll leave you. I'm a fluent Kiowa speaker, but my voice is just killing me, so I'm going to pray for a safe travel home. I finally got my wish. I finally got to visit both of them, and the rest of the Kiowas. All of these were the noble ones that they captured. You don't have trash here. They were our royalty. Aho, doggy. Hage zu ihm dort, sagt er. Beit Ahal. Conti. E Tsanda. Jakumba. Goat de im dort, sagt er. Honde get get time. Take up ingo dit. Tamsil. Tokyo. Get on dit. Solo e dort, sagt er. Kom op, Peter. Ampedo e tapedo. But I'm dekiem da. I'm dekiem da. Hateli zaita. Hateli bata. He got on time. Toi bata. He go dort zeit yita. No, he go get on dita. Oi on time, tagare it on time kunta. Oi data on. Aho, dog e, gopege dog e. Aho, he got hunde get on. Can't. He got no up him. He got on go can't they don't sat. But he got on go I ate go on go I took. Hatil get Hattil. Get time. He got no upon Oba. Prayed for all of you to have a safe trip home. Good luck in everything you do.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. We appreciate it. Next.
One of my best friends made this dress for me. And you never seen a Kiowa dress with pockets. That was Geraldine Greaves.
Oh, your photos, do you want me to take them down or can we leave them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get them to you. Yeah. Every woman appreciates a dress with pockets, so take note, designers of the world.